Welcome to our series of how to develop your research. We have previously spoken about the importance of having methodology in research design, and we gave a simple distinction between methods and methodology, saying that methodology are principles governing how research will be done, whereas methods are data collected or approach for data collection. Now, we have different methods based on the nature of the research and based on the type of the data or the information we are gathering. In today's presentation, we'll give more light into what are the different tools or methods we have and how best we can utilize them. One of the distinction between these methods are made based on the data, the type of information we are collecting. This information could be primary or secondary. What is the main difference between primary and secondary? Primary focuses on first-hand information we gather for the first time. For example, interview, questionnaire. We are getting the information directly from the main source. Secondary, it means that we are incorporating different resources to have that information. It could be records. We are getting it from books, which is collection of different resources, journals. So primary data are from the first hand, from the main provider's source, and the secondary one provides second-hand data using like records, journals, books, internet websites, and similar resources. In today's talk, we'll give the three main branches for primary data, and we'll give more focus to observation, and we'll also talk about interviews, and finally we'll speak about questionnaires. Okay, and then for the secondary one, we have the different type of documents that I've just talked about, and we'll see some as well as an example. Okay, so let's start speaking about observation. Very clear, observation is just one way to collect primary data for any research, and mainly it's watching or listening to audience or for the interaction between two people or more than two people to see their reaction and to study their behavior. And they are classified into two types. Observation, again, they are also classified into two categories. They have direct, we call it observation, or we call it participant observation. And we have the non-participant. Okay, what is the difference between participant and non-participant observation? Participant observation, it means that you as a researcher, you are involved. You are in the process. Okay, I'll give you one example. Let us say that we want to study this, like the interaction between husband and wife in some social context. So what we will do, a researcher will stay with them at home. He or she will not interfere at all. He would just record or take notes. So he is there in the context. So he is participating. The same example, but we have a different procedures. The same, we are not involved. We will just watch a video. We'll take picture of the same family, and then we'll look at the video like 1 day, 2 days later, or in the same day, or after 1 week, and then start to analyze. So we are not directly there, rather we are just observing them from after time or far away. Such method is very popular in psychology, in education, in different science. But the main problem with such one is that people, when they come to know that they are being observed, they would change their behavior and they would behave differently. This is one. Another problem or disadvantage that you might be affected by the disruption of stopping the recording for some time, or lose of battery or all this equipment. In addition, there is the interpretation of the context or whatever we are observing may vary from one researcher to another researcher. This is common, as I said, in qualitative, but still it is an advantage, is an disadvantage, for such method. Having said that about observation, let's move now to the second part, or the second type of tools used popular in qualitative study is interview. And interviews, as I said, they are very popular used in qualitative research. However, there are different types of interviews that we'll look at them now, and these types then again provide different features. And the first one, we call it unstructured interview. Okay, and then we have the second one, or the third one, which is structured interview. And then the middle one, which is the semi-structured. Okay, so what are the differences between these three types and how they best can be used? Okay, so on the unstructured interview is just that there is no structure exactly. There are no preset questions for how best we can. There is no preset question on the that we want to plan and give to the participant. An example of this one: I want to know what happened during the war, the Iraq war. So what I will do, I would choose 3 or 2 and sit with them and interview them for a long time, just because I don't have the information. I want to collect the information. In this sense, I will have to use unstructured. So the why it is unstructured, there are no preset questions that I want to tell or to ask. Is that just I am, as a researcher, I'm listener. I only listen and take notes and keep recording. Now, why there are no preset questions? As I told you, because we exactly don't know. We want to know more. We don't know zero. We have zero information about what happened there, and we want them to narrate us, to tell us the story. So in collecting historical information, for example, this is very popular. For example, sailors, the Omani sailors they used to ship from Sur to India, and that will take 4 to 5 months. If you would like to discover what happened during these 4 to 5 months and listen to the stories, what are the strange things that happened to them during this period of time. So what you'll do, you will just sit with one of the sailors or the captain and will ask him to speak freely, explain. You will be only nodding your head, showing him that you are interested, and you will be asking him to give more information, but you will not interfere, and you will not, you just a listener here. Well, the second one, which is the semi-structured, is that you have a preset questions, and these preset questions, actually, we call them interview schedule. So the preset questions, we call them interview schedule. So if you are asked what is an interview schedule are questions that are prepared in advance to be asked for the participant. Okay, and these schedules keeps the the conversation or the interview going on. Okay, the main thing here is that these interview schedules, the researcher can alter, he can change, he can drop, add. While he is going into the interview, in the semi-structured interview, he might notice or hear some comments, strange comments, and he would like to take more information, then he can add some questions. Or he might, during that, remember an important point that was left, and then he will still ask the question, another question. Or he might just see that the participants have already covered the main topic, so he will drop the question. Okay, so we call it semi-structured. Yes, we have structured questions, but we can alter them. Now the researcher here is a facilitator. He listen, participate, control the discussion, ask the questions, okay, and take the notes or recording. In the structure, so let me give you one example of semi-structured. Semi-structured, one approach, for example, in education. I want to understand the teacher perception about how to best activate lazy students. So the teacher will start talking, and I'll have a semi-interview with him, preparing 6 questions. But it might end that I've answered more than 12, just dragging on whatever he or she say. Okay, the structured one, this one is very famous in marketing. Okay, and it's similar to questionnaire, but the main difference is that you got a list of questions with boxes to tick. Okay, and then you can use the laptop, the computer, your phone or telephone conversation. So you just quickly go to the shop or to the market, to public areas, and you'll start asking the quick questions, and they will just tell you the answer, and you don't have to drag on, you just have to tick the answer very quickly. So there is a structure, a clear structure. You are not, as a researcher, allowed to change the questions, not to drop them, not to add any more, and you have to stick to this question and only ask these questions. So this is structured. And one example, if I want to open a cafe, and then I want to know what are the best drinks that required in that area on that slot. Okay, so I'll just interview 100 participants to see from any public area, to see what are best coffees, type of coffees they are interested, or best of tea or any drinks. Okay, and then so that you can alter, you can plan well, and you can prepare your cafe to meet these demands. So structured, by the way, structured interview is not only, it's used with quantitative studies. Okay, why? Now, all of these two, the unstructured and the semi-structured, are qualitative, because only small sample size, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are more of details, explanation, ideas, description, attitudes. And here, no, you have 100, 200 participants, more or less, and you only have to tick. So after you finish, you're not going to interpret, you'll just analyze. Give us how many percent, for example, 90% of the participants really exactly choose one, coffee or tea. So it's involved what? It involved the analysis, statistical analysis, numbers, figures. Interviews in general, whether unstructured, semi-structured, or structured, they have advantage and disadvantage. And one advantage of interviews, they really provide in-depth information about any topic. They are very useful for, complex situations, and the questions can be explained. However, their problem is that the interview is very expensive, by the way. It needs you to go there and to be there, and time consuming, and it's all affected by the bias of the researcher. So his characteristic or his personality is being present there. In addition, the quality of information you get depend upon the quality of the interviewer, the interviewee, the machines, the different phenomena affect the quality.